So guys, welcome to another gardening video on my channel. So I've given you tips on how to prepare your garden for autumn. I've given you crops for March and for holistically autumn as well. Okay, so I thought for this video, let me actually give you tips on how to start and plant these crops, right? I hope you enjoy it. Become a member, subscribe, and let's go straight into the video. Okay, so the first thing that we should look at is the back of the seed packets, right? These can show you how and when to start these seeds. So different packaging manufacturers will have different instructions for their seeds, but at least all of them have a similar way of showing you how and when to plant these seeds. So you can see this one, it's text mostly. This one is actually more picturized as well, and it's more simple to understand. And then this one is actually more detailed, but they also still use pictures. You can see this one, it needs some full sun. We can direct sow them. The first area, this one, we can sowing time is all year round. The seed trays, you can even start how deep you should actually sow it, how you should actually sow it, keeping it moist, the distance that you should keep between all the crops. We even have to thin it out. I like these ones. And then also when you harvesting, this one is also nice because it has like a little ruler, which is cool to also show so that you can actually use this for the distance. It even gives you a little tip on how to have more success in planting these seeds. So moving to one of the most important aspects of growing seeds is the actual soil. And you can see here, this one is covered in mulch, and I would always recommend that you have some mulch in your garden. This is for all soil types because the mulch keeps the moisture in the garden, right? It also adds some added nutrients. You'll also be able to see the type of soil required for the seed that you want to grow on the back of the seed packet. Always have some mulch to protect the garden and also to add some nutrients back. The difference between compost and mulch. So mulch is a covering for the soil, right? This helps in keeping the moisture and also protecting the soil, right, from like weeds. Also just leaving it bare is not really great. And also then over time it also adds nutrients back into the garden. So with mulch, the rule is you don't integrate it with the soil. This, you just literally leave it on top of the soil and you just cover it with the soil. When you are planting, you uncover as such, as I did as such. You take apart the mulch and then you plant in the actual soil. Then we have compost. So compost, you can see here, this one is integrated with the soil. So this adds a lot more moisture and nutrients to the soil that you already have. Obviously with the compost, you can also just lay it on top with layers. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. So the next tip, and we're gonna bring back the seed packets, is plant as directed, right? Obviously through experience we'll have different variations. I would always say start with what is displayed in the seed packets. So another nice example are tomatoes. Tomatoes, that they like to be trellised. So making sure that, they have a trellis nearby them as they are growing and not when they've already fully developed. Just making sure that they have the best possible way to start their journey in growing. Also, the full sun, making sure that if they need some full sun, that you give them some of that full sun. Something like lettuce. Lettuce is not finicky at all. So this one, you can actually provide them with some shade. They would actually like that a lot. They don't like too much sun. So just getting some intermediate sun would be good for them, with some partial shade would also be really good for them as well. This prevents them from seeding and also wilting. So definitely just following what the seed packet says will really help in getting the best possible outcome for the crop that you want to grow. Okay, so let's now break it down, right? Let's say you're starting from trays. Okay, so basically with the trays, you will just get some potting soil. Just literally put the potting soil in there, put some seeds in there, and then just wait until the seeds actually grow. Now the thing with trays, right? Trays, you would ideally want to get your seeds out of the trays as quickly as possible and planted into the ground. Okay, and how you would know when it's time is at the back of these. You would start seeing roots popping out at the bottom. This is when you would know that the seeds are actually very mature and they should be now taken out. Okay, so before the roots start to come out of the bottom, that's when you should take them out. You would take them out of the seed trays and then literally just dig up a hole in there, plunk it in there, and you're ready to go. Okay, now if you're direct sowing, this is the type of thing that might happen, which is you can see that there's a lot of seeds that have started to germinate. So when this happens, we need to do something called thinning. So thinning is basically just separating these crops so that they are not fighting for nutrients. As you can see in the moment, they're all clustered together, and you don't really want this because they're all feeding off the same spot, right? So either taking out the dead crops and then just putting them around the one that you want to keep, and then that actually adds more nutrients to that one that you want to keep. Or you can then also put them in other places. So for this one, to be honest, I'm okay with just having the one in here. Kale, this is kale by the way. Kale gets pretty big. So yeah, I definitely want to just keep one of the seeds here, and the rest can actually go. From your eye of judgment, which one looks the healthiest, right? And this is just from your own judgment, and again, there's no real right or wrong answer. It's just from what you think, and from my perspective, I can already see the stronger one, and I'm already plucking around. So yeah, you see this one, this is the one that I want to keep. I want to keep that one. So I'm going to take all the other ones that are around it out. And again, as I say, you can literally just put the dead ones around the crop, and this will also add as some nutrients for the Lone Ranger now. So let's say, for example, you have seedlings that you've bought from the nursery or from builders, etc., and now you want to plant that one. I would say is probably the easiest way. Just dig up a hole, wholly big enough for the actual pot. So if you just put the pot itself in that hole, you can also supplement this with compost. So you can put some compost before you actually put the seedling in. Just put some compost at the bottom of the hole, and then put the seedling in the ground. Cover that also with some mulch as well to keep in the moisture, to also give it some extra nutrients, and literally just watch it grow, right? You can even water it if you want, if it hasn't been raining. So pretty simple, pretty easy. And then the last one would be companion plants. Guys, make sure that you are planting the crops near their friends. Okay, this just helps with the growth of the crop, and it also helps deter pests and diseases away from the actual crop, because now the crop is much happier. You know, the pests and diseases don't have a reason to actually invade it. So just pairing it up with crops that can either help or enhance the crop, this would be the best. Like tomatoes and basil. The basil enhances the taste of the tomatoes. They do really well with each other. The corn and beans do really well with each other, because the beans can use the corn as a trellis to go up on. even using sunflowers, because then they can grow up on the actual sunflower, you know, things like that, you know, things that will just help the crop be better. I would always suggest, if you are interested in specific crops and also the companion plants for these crops, I might just do a video. Put it in the comments and I'll do a video on the companion plants so we can go into detail. So yeah guys, that will be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful, and I hope it gave you some little, you know, the basics of planting, and just gave you some more encouragement to grow in the garden. Yeah, so I'll see you on Wednesday. Wednesday, you know, it's my updates of the garden, so you can see what's happening inside there. Okay, so yeah, I love you guys all. Love, peace, grow every single day.